Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is December the 12th, and we're reading in Hosea and chapter 9. Now, in Hosea chapter 9, the Lord explains that the discipline of God will continue on Israel. The Lord says, "Don't rejoice, because you have sought payment for every sinful act. The Lord will take away joy from the children of Israel. Weeds will invade their tents, and thistles and nettles, and the Lord will deal hard with Israel. They will have children only to give them over to murderers. The Lord will give miscarriages to the women, and dry breasts to the mothers. The Lord will not love them any more because they rebel against him. The Lord will destroy their children. Israel is a vine that bears no fruit for the Lord. The Lord will leave them without a king because they forsook the Lord. Thorns and thistles will grow on their altars as their religion fades away. They will seek to die under the rocks of the mountains because misery will fill their hearts. The Lord pleads with Israel to plough deep the ground that has been left uncultivated. They are to sow righteous deeds according to the law, and they will reap mercy from the Lord for that. It's a time for Israel to seek the Lord, because Israel trusted in themselves and in their own strength, and the Lord will send a disturbance into the people, and all their strong points will be broken up. Because of their great wickedness, the king will be killed in the morning. Let's go back over this passage. It's quite shocking when we read about what the Lord will do. In verse 1 it says, "Rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people, for thou hast gone a whoring from thy God. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor, and the floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land. Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria." Wow. Because they have gone after sexual immorality in the corn floor and in the winepress, it means that the winepress will not give them wine anymore. There will be no new wine. There will be no joy in Israel. They will not dwell in the Lord's land anymore. This is the same message as the Lord brought to, strangely enough, we're in the first year of the Home Bible College, we're looking at the last three letters of Christ to the Jewish assemblies of the tribulation period. And he speaks to the very last one. He says, God will spew you out of his mouth. He's going to cast them out. And that's the same here. Israel was going to be cast out of the land, and they were going to go back to Egypt, and they were going to eat non-kosher in Assyria. Wow, what a degradation that is. Verse 7, "The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool, the spiritual man is mad, and the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred." And then he explains in verse 9 why this great calamity will come upon them. He says, "They have corrupted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore he will remember their iniquity, and he will visit their sins." My password is in verse 17 of chapter 9. "My God will cast them away, because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations." Now this certainly did happen, and this certainly is still true even to today. Yes, there are a few million that have returned to Israel, but in the main, all the Jews in all the world, all the diaspora, they are wandering still among the nations. They cannot find a place where they can have peace, because God has cast them out of the land, because they did not listen to him, and they are wandering among the nations. And in chapter 10 verse 1 he explains why that's the case. He says Israel is an empty vine. And so here we are in John chapter 15 immediately, where the Lord says, I am the vine, the true vine, and you are the branches. Any branch in me that beareth not fruit is cut off and cast into the fire. And that's exactly what Israel experienced. They were cut off, they were removed from the land, and they became unfruitful. He says, there is fruit, you bring forth fruit for yourself. According to the multitude of your fruit, you have increased the altars. According to the goodness of the land, they have made good images. So you see, the idolatry of Israel, the fruitfulness of Israel wasn't devoted to the Lord, it was devoted to idolatry. And when we go on down through the passage, he says this. He says, the high places of Aven, this is verse 8, the sin of Israel shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come up on their altars. They shall say to the mountains, cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. You know, this is an expression it's used to describe the spiritual desperation, the longing for death that will come upon the children of Israel in the great tribulation, when they will call upon the mountains to fall upon them. They will call upon the hills to fall on them, and yet they will not fall. And that's the desperation that Israel will get to. They will be disciplined by the wrath of the Lamb. And so down to verse 12, the Lord says to Israel this. He says, in that day, sow to yourselves in righteousness. In other words, sow the seed of doing the right thing before the Lord. Do that which is right according to law, according to the old covenant. Because if you sow to yourself righteousness, then you will reap in God withholding his judgment. Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord until he come and rain righteousness upon you. The heart of Israel was so hard that the seed could not get in there. They are like the path upon which the seed is sown. Remember that with the sower? And the seed can't get into the ground because it's hard. He says it's time to plough the fallow ground. It's time to sow righteousness, because if you sow righteousness, then you will reap mercy. And you must do this until Christ comes, and he will rain righteousness upon you. Wow. So this is a passage which links easily with Revelation and the messages of Christ to the 7 Jewish assemblies of the tribulation period. You see, from the time of Hosea to right to the time of the end, Israel is out of favour with God. They are cast out of the land. They are scattered because of their exceeding wickedness. Well, there we are. That's the passage for today. I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Have a great day. God bless you. Bye for now.